Yo, what's up, everyone? This video we're looking at the Thursday slate. We have a 4-game slate for tonight, another short slate on a Thursday. Starting at 8 o'clock, so we get an extra hour. We have a couple of good games to watch. Philly-Boston will be nice to watch, and Portland-Denver. But overall, it's not like a super appealing slate. But let's get into it. You can drop a like down below and subscribe if you have not already. Starting off here at point guard, Lucca Donek, most expensive guy at 11.4. He's definitely been worth that price tag this year, averaging 60 fantasy points. Over his last 3 games, he hasn't been great, but I'm still happy that his price tag hasn't really come down. It's still up there at 11.4. If we get more value on the slate, I think it'll be easier to get to pay up for him, but right now I'm finding it kind of tough. The guy that I'm liking a lot here at point guard is Disanto Murray, 5,600, mainly because Popovich said that he could see more minutes here. So he played 32 minutes. The game did go into overtime, but he played pretty well. Derek White got the start again last time out, and he didn't do anything. He had no points in like 25 minutes. So it could be a spot where the Spurs go back to Murray as their starting point guard. And if he's no longer on a minutes limit, I think he'll be able to crush this salary. Against this Cavaliers team. They are terrible defensively and offensively. They have been giving up one of the most fantasy points to point guards on the year. At home, I like Murray a ton at 5,600. Over at shooting guard, I'm looking at CJ McCollum, 6,800. Nice price tag there. Jaylen Brown, if Hayward's out again, then you could go to him. Even if Hayward's in, he's been pretty solid on the year. And then Jamal Murray said that he'll be back tonight against Portland. If he's in there, then 6,500 for him will be really nice. I just want to get the official word, but as of now, I think McCollum's fine, and then Jamal Murray, if he's in at 6,500, will be a little tough to get away from. And then for value, we have not a ton that I'm in love with. Maybe Bruce Brown could be a nice cheap option. Only 3,900 for him. But as of now, I'm liking CJ McCollum. Price tag back under 7,000 for him. It was a blowout last time against the Knicks, so I only played 31 minutes. I mean, that's still a lot of minutes in a blowout, but didn't have to close the game, didn't have to play much in the fourth quarter. In this spot, it should be much more competitive, and against Denver, I mean, he does at this price point, he does have 6x to 7x upside pretty easily, so. On to small forward, I'm looking at maybe DeRozan, 7,300. Jaylen Brown, 66. Will Barton, they're all appealing. Even Anthony at 5,800. I'm liking Barton, 6,300 again. Very low owned last time out against Philly, put up 53. Happy I went to him that day. Nobody really played him on Tuesday, was very low owned on both sides, and he crushed. So I don't mind going back to him again, especially if Murray, even though he said he's in, I mean, nothing's been official. So 6,300 for Barton. He's going to play quite a bit of minutes. He played 40 minutes in a regulation game. In this game, could get up to 38 to 40 if he's playing well again. Maybe not 40 again, but 36 to 38. He did have to play more minutes because Jamal Murray went out early. Power forward, I'm looking at Griffin, Porzingis, Kevin Love. All 3 are cheap. All 3 have been pretty disappointing on the year for fantasy, but they're super cheap, and they still are decent players, even though they haven't really showed it yet. So I don't mind going to all of them. Griffin here, 6,700. Will definitely be low owned after his dud that he put up against the Pelicans. Price tag went down another $500. He hasn't been great at all this year. Maybe his leg is still bothering him, but I don't mind going to him. He's still averaging over a point per minute, and now that he's playing 32 to 34 minutes, he can easily put up 30s and 40s. And at this price point, I mean, if he gets you 35 fantasy points, that's decent. That's 5.2 something X value. So he's at a price point where the upside will have the chance to win you a lot of money, and his floor games can kill you, but on a 4-game slate at this price point, I'll definitely have some interest. At center, I'm not loving paying up for Jokic here on Draftkings. I prefer him on Fanduel. You could play Whiteside at 8,100. It's a tougher matchup against Denver, but he's been solid. And then I'm kind of going back to the same three guys I mentioned. Porzingis, 6,400. I don't mind playing both Porzingis and Griffin. They both will probably be on the court quite a bit to defend each other. Porzingis on the year has been much better than Griffin in terms of fantasy, averaging 35 fantasy points in 30 minutes. There have been a lot of blowouts as of late, which is why these minutes are down. But he still has some upside. He just like Griffin, he's struggling to shoot the basketball, but he has block upside. And just like the price point on him, 6,400 is really cheap. And then at forward, maybe go back to Kevin Love at 6,200. They finally had a close game against Houston, and because of that, he played 32 minutes. It is a back-to-back. I know they're trying to trade him. He could get like a back injury or something, quotation marks around that, and rest him tonight. If that's the case, then maybe you could play like Tristan Thompson, who's also cheap at 6,100. But as of now, I think Kevin Love, 6,200 against San Antonio. They play no defense except for Murray. They're one of the worst teams at defending like bigs. Love should, if he plays 30 plus minutes, I think he'll have no problem hitting value. Only shot one 3-pointer last night, which was surprising. But it's a spot where he can get back on track with his 3-ball. So that's kind of what I'm liking for Draftkings as of now. Let's jump on over to Fanduel. Kind of the same players I like or on Draftkings that I like on Fanduel. Point guard is still Disanto Murray, 6,100. If he's not on a limit anymore. Can put up like 40 plus in this matchup. Just really high ceiling in this kind of game. At home especially. Shooting guard, it's still McCollum at 7K I'm liking. Clarkson is decent option at 4,500. But I like Josh Richardson, only 4,400. First game back against Denver, he struggled. Only had 7 fantasy points in 19 minutes. He wasn't at limit. Don't know if he's going to be on a limit again tonight. But if he's not and he plays his 30 minutes, then at 4,400, he's really, really cheap on FanDuel. Before he got hurt with his hamstring, he was playing really well, shooting the ball well. Against Boston, it's a tougher matchup, but it's a spot where it should be a competitive game, and Richardson is really cheap. Small forward, Jaylen Brown, Will Barton, my 2 top plays. And then for value, maybe like Cedi Osman, maybe Kevin Porter. He's been playing really well. If he draws the start somehow, then it'll be really easy to get to him. Even if he doesn't start, he's at a price point where he can make value. But I think Will Barton at 66 he's definitely shown that ceiling. He has a decent floor in a competitive game that no problem getting to him at this price point. And then power forward, liking the same 3 guys I mentioned. Maybe LaMarcus Aldridge is also in play against Cleveland. But Porzingis, 76. Just like the spot for him. He's been bad as of late. The minutes have been down in some of these games, mainly due to blowouts and foul trouble. But we've seen that if he stays out of foul trouble and the game is close, that he will play 35 to 37 minutes. It just hasn't happened very often this year. But if that happens tonight in Detroit, then at 7,600, with the points that you get for blocks, 3 points on FanDuel per block, one of the best shot blockers in the league. I like Porzingis. And then over at center, I think Jokic is a really solid play on FanDuel, where he is cheaper than Whiteside. I think him and Whiteside are comparable, but I think Jokic is just because he's at home. He's been always better at home in his career. The price point is really fair on him. And if you don't want to go there, you could go to Tristan Thompson, who's cheap at 6,700. And that's kind of it. There's no other option, really, that I'm liking at center. So that's it for tonight. That's what I'm liking. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck tonight.